This better not be the intro music to the road show in 8 days or 9 days.
We're working on a highlight reel type of thing, so no, it will not be.
Yeah, it's going to be some like crashing. Welcome to the road show.
No.
Something like that. Like fireworks. And like pieces of eggs.
Why would you want fireworks at a road show?
Well, we can do fireworks in the parking lots.
There's way too much like WWE production going on in FPF these days. I'm not for it. I know a lot of guys are, but it's not my cup of tea.
When I ask for skin-clad people, I'm not going to Eagle as being the guy. Sure, it's okay on the sidelines.
Hey, Eagle might be in the finals this year.
I know.
And that will cause a huge predicament for the whole production because we don't have another Eagle.
There is a contingency plan.
Is it the Falcon?
No, it is not.
Project Falcon?
The Hawk.
It is the Eternal Hunger. That's the contingency plan, and we'll have to restructure the schedule if that were to happen. But yeah, just on that note, 2 out of the 3 of us can be in the finals. Isn't that right, Mo?
That is correct. And too bad you guys won't win a title. Something that will elude you guys for the rest of your lives. Unlike yours truly, I have 2.
He's got a point there.
Yes.
Then again, Hollow has 2, right?
I do have 1, thank you. I'm 1 in 3 in the finals. I'm building up my LeBron record here for my Hall of Fame candidacy.
Anthony Calvillo record over there. Welcome to Calling the Audible. This is the Div D-1, Div D-2 podcast. Thank God we're come to the end of this roller coaster ride, as it has been quite the eventful seasons for both leagues. And now as we approach the quarterfinals, semifinals for both these leagues, or Sunday, Tuesday. By Tuesday at around 11:30-ish, we'll have our finalists for both divisions confirmed. And then we'll have the, what are we doing, the Tailgate Roadshow?
So there's 2 things going on. One of them is going to be the press conference, which is going to be what you would truly expect from a true press conference. So it's not going to be streamed live or anything like that. We're basically just going to be filming some footage, asking interview questions at the Sportier cage, where if you're not in the cage, you're not in the game. And also get your jerseys there if you don't have them yet, although you should because it's playoffs. But not too late for Fall Cup. But on top of that, we're going to be doing that during the Wednesday. And then Thursday, we're going to do a regular podcast show where we're going to go ahead and do our predictions, do the recaps of everything that's happened for that week.
So essentially, Thursday's podcast is like a 5-minute show. Halleck, who do you have winning? Great. See you later. We'll see you
we're gonna do analysis. Obviously, we're not gonna have people in the house, but then after that's actually done, there's gonna be a little like tailgate party happening outside over here. We're gonna have that on Facebook Live, so people can tune in, ask us questions, and you guys can basically chime in with your analysis.
Who's gonna ask us questions? Brent Calendar.
Anyone who's definitely Brent Calendar. Ryan Aridi will likely be asking questions.
TOPSZN's boys are gonna be on there.
Yeah, sure.
I don't know if everybody watching is gonna like what they're gonna hear from that tailgate party. When you mix the FPF staff with booze and hot dogs, it kind of gets a little bit ugly.
On a parking lot?
In the parking lot?
In the parking lot in St. Leonard.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then, of course, we have Sunday, which is the actual championship finals, which is a production and a half. So I'm looking forward to that. And by looking forward to, I mean, oh my God, I have to buy Red Bull.
You know what I look forward to on Roadshow, right?
Shinois.
They're not Duns.
Now it's Duns.
All right, let's dive into the well done over here.
This will be my first one, by the way.
Yeah, you come out to the rodeo afterwards?
Your first Duns?
My first Duns.
It's a good time. A lot of fun.
Yeah.
A lot of fun. We make fun of...
everyone.
Yeah. Let's talk about divisional playoffs. Let's go through the week that was for Division D1. Probably the best game that was close, obviously by the scoreline, was SOB against Purple Cobras. Going into overtime, SOB wins 24-23. A game that had a lot of twists and turns. Eric Monorino could have won it for them, but couldn't do it late in the second half. Max Marina had a Max Marina day, 93 yards passed at 3 TDs. But the key was defense, making stops on defense for both sides. And at the end of the day, when it's all said and done in overtime, SOB wins. They move on now to the second round of the playoffs here. And I said I'd give them one game. They got this game. It felt like they were quite relieved to finally win a game of meaningful battles, and they did so on Sunday nights.
Well, I was playing at the same time parallel to their field. I heard the intensity of their game in contrast to ours, which the starting quarterback on the other side wasn't there, so it was quite a lopsided affair. Their game was very heated. There's a lot of yelling going on back and forth. We knew some kind of fireworks were going on. Afterwards, I tried to get a recap. I heard that Joey Taylor got nailed in the stomach or something and apparently was puking on the sidelines.
Was he?
That's what I hear. So,
Sure you wasn't drunk?
could very well have been
football.
But I think what happened in this game is Surya Chandel
Chandel, yes.
Chandel. I think he put some good pressure on Eric Marano. Marano didn't have the best of evenings, 92 yards passing only,
Both quarterbacks
15
had
of 25.
games.
They both struggled, right? Yeah, 93 yards for Max Marini as well. But I think the rushing pressure really got on Marino and kept SOB in it late, especially when it seemed like they were going to let it slip towards the end of the game.
Yeah, and I think on the sidelines watching this game, and I believe I was watching it with Ray Rayhan Sarwar. And he was saying, bro, like, this is intense. Like, the defenses have been playing great. And you saw the quarterbacks did nothing. And I think that will be their calling card now for SOB if they're going to make another deep run. And they will play TOPSZN, which we'll get to momentarily here. But this was definitely a win of relief for them moving forward. And speaking of TOPSZN, they win by 7 over Les Affreux out in Papineau. High scoring affair for this team. And I think for them, we look at Clear 15-19, 224, 7 TDs, 1 INT. He's definitely turned his game around after I motivated him back in week 3.
Yes, you did, Mo. You turned it around for him.
Zach Dryden had 6 TD catches on 7 balls thrown to him.
There's a little dust on your shoulder, Mo. You probably should get it.
Thank you.
That's the key right there, though. Zach Dryden, if you don't know him by now, you should get acquainted with him because this guy just made a name for himself in the first round of the FPF playoffs. Ties the all-time single-game record for touchdowns in a playoff game with 6. Went 7, 105, and 6 in this one. And you got to throw it up to his pre-game tutor in this one. Those photos circulating online of some of the TOPSZN's boys at Con U with the one and only Terrell Owens.
Was that this past week, not last week?
It was this week that just passed.
So this game was on Sunday. So how did that have to correlate with the game?
It was earlier in the day, Mo, or the day before.
What are you doing?
No.
What is this?
The TOPSZN's boys were training with Terrell Owens prior to their match.
Body, his structure.
learning the intricate ins and outs of Hall of Fame route running.
Breaking ankles,
indeed. And it showed in this game. Look at that. Khalil Kerr, 7 touchdowns. He was slicing and dicing Les Affreux defense with ease. And I think the key takeaway here is that this game wasn't as close as the score indicates. Les Affreux were down by 2 scores late, and TOPSZN's essentially yielded the last score to keep it to a one-score game just so they can end the game. So TOPSZN's had a firm grasp of this one. They look like a dominant playoff contender right now.
More surprised with Kiwi Island losing or Get Off My D losing. I think, personally speaking, I thought I'd give one game to Kiwi Island and they'd get bounced in the second round. They lose to the Backyard Bruisers by 12 and Get Off My D without Jadaridi lose by 18 points here. So in your mind, Halawak, who was the more surprising loss this past Sunday?
I'll say it like this. I was celebrating with the Frosty Bronsons boys at the bar in Lachine. We were having a couple of Frosty Bronsons, and right in front of us was the Kiwi Island game, so we had a clear sight of that one. Not at one moment were we ever surprised by the score of that game. It was an intense game. Backyard Bruisers were in firm command for almost the entirety of the game. Too many turnovers on this side of Kiwi Island. However, when I got home and I noticed the score of the Green Lanterns Get Off My D game, my cap fell off. That was completely surprising for me. That one caught me off guard entirely. Kudos to Green Lantern Corps. They upsetted the number 1 seed, and they did it in a monumental fashion. And they just kind of passed a message to the rest of the division that they're here for real this playoffs.
I think I wonder if both teams, their full strength, what they would have done. And I believe with Kiwi Island, their season was done after the whole incident from 2 weeks ago. They were done.
Yep.
I think for Get Off My D, you're right. It is surprising. They lose to a GLC team that was 0-5 to start off the year and have put together a string of W's to get themselves into the playoffs. And Hyman Long showing why he doesn't get the full credit that he deserves, but he has played well when his number's been called. And I wondered, we spoke about them way back in week 3, week 4, saying, look, they're not going to go to the playoffs. And now here they are. 2 wins away from playing on the road show in about 10 days' time. They
caught us completely off guard. The defense turned it around for them. They are swarming defensively. Everybody's contributing. They crash routes. Like if there's an opening, there's 2 guys that'll get there before the ball has a chance, a flicker of a hope to get into the receiver's hands. But the real connection is Hyman Long and Mendy Kardashian. Hyman Long just has a sense for how to work this guy. He works him on the quick crosses. And then he gets him on the deep cross eventually when he catches the defense prying up. It's just crosses all game for Kardashian, but it's either short and it's deep. He's working both layers of the field, and the GLC offense is very fluid right now.
Speaking of fluid, they're not fluid. When I say 5, what do you think of, Halwak?
When you say 5?
Yeah.
Guys.
Yeah.
5 guys.
5 drops in the end zone.
Oh.
Yeah.
So that must be a Frosty Bronsons reference then.
Yeah. Just quickly here, do you guys know how to catch football?
You know, typically we do, but somehow this weekend it evaded us. Every single football evaded us. We had a major case of drop-itis. I started it off with just an egregious drop for a touchdown, and then my cohorts, they kind of picked up where I left off, and they began to drop the ball one after the next. And before we know it, James Nowakowski was pulling out the little hair remains on his head and in disarray. However, James still had a good game. He stayed composed, and just imagine the type of evening he would have had it not been for those 5 drops in the end zone for Frosty Bronsons.
Let's talk about the Bronsons-Badgers matchup now. Bronsons won way back earlier in the season, 14-13. Nowakowski had 2 TDs, 3 INTs. Josh Feder, 2 TDs, 1 INT on 126 yards passing. Okay, so we know the scenario that has presented itself for the Badgers. The likely case is that the Feder brothers will not be there. So you add that to the fact they had a bye week. Does this set up where the stars are aligned for Bronsons to really roll over these guys this weekend?
I think that the stars have aligned for the Bronsons to get to the conference finals. We faced a team this week that did not have their starting quarterback. Chris Privé was absent for Les Vergeriennes. And this week we're going against a team in Badgers that will have Joe Cano at quarterback, the backup quarterback, and will miss both of the Feeder brothers. So once again, we face a team that will have a backup quarterback, and they will be short-staffed because they're 8 with the Feeder brothers on the roster. So there will be a maximum of 6 of this game. So it seems like the stars are in our favor to get through, and it would take a monumental collapse on our part in order to lose that.
Yeah, 5 more drops in the end zone, then maybe there is a chance for them. But if there is one... Yes, Eagle, you're about to say something.
I was going to say, so you're already calling the W in your favor?
CNN
I'm calling the W in my favor. Yes, I don't think it's a far stretch. I think the Badgers know it as well, that the odds are against them in this game. I'm not trying to be cocky or anything on this one.
I think you're trying to be cocky.
But polls haven't even opened yet. He was already predicting the winner.
You have a backup quarterback, and you have a depleted roster going against a returning championship team.
I hope these guys beat you with no 5 plays left.
Well, can't wait to hear your spread, Mo Khan, at the end of the show.
Don't worry about
We're going to be like 35.8 points in favor of the Badgers.
So if there's one player that worries you on the Badgers, who is it then?
Well, without question, it's the one man that's been consistent for them on both sides of the ball this season. It's AJ Rashkovan. He's been doing it offensively. He's a rusher extraordinaire on defense. He'll be able to contain James Nowakowski, keep him in the pocket. So definitely AJ Rashkovan is the guy, the hero on their side that we'll be looking to clamp down on.
He might be the only hope they have now. It really is. It's too bad that the Feathers can't be there.
They have Kyle Pedvis also, who turns it up in this division. He plays in Smash Bros in Division C as well. Had a productive season, but really shines in Division D as well. But without the Feather brothers, you're removing the heart of this team.
Then again, there was the year. Remember, I think it was Sammy was on vacation or for traveling for work, and Josh was quarterbacking, and they actually made it to finals and won that year.
Yeah, they won the semifinals without
exactly.
Josh.
Yeah. So they had Josh quarterbacking and Sammy wasn't there. So effectively.
Josh not here either.
Both Feather brothers though, so it's not 1 but 2.
Josh not here, and you're not playing the Bearskins.
Yeah, exactly.
Playing the Bronsons.
For the Bronsons' point of view, does this worry you, the feast or famine theory? Because there's days where you guys can put up points, and there's days you guys have difficulty, as it was on Sunday, even though you guys won by 21. Does that linger in the back of the minds of the Bronsons in this matchup?
Not so much, because we've been feasting the past 3 weeks now. Even this week, with 27 points only on the board, James Nowakowski deserved to have more. It wasn't for a drop, so we're not typically a team that drops the ball. So the offense has been rolling the last couple of weeks, and the defense has started to pick up as well. So I know from our side that the feast or famine doesn't worry us, because basically at this time of year, if there is a famine game, if there is that game where our quarterback blows up, then we're going to lose. So we're not worried about if it's going to happen or not. We're just staying positive, and we're trying to focus on feasting for the rest of this season.
Speaking of feasting, Cage Bureau taking on the Backyard Bruisers. The Raw team won 20-19. Dylan Garber had 194 yards, 3 TDs, 1 INT. Ryan Garber had 3 TDs. He will not be in this game.
The Garburator. Yeah,
well, he's not going to be in this game. Chris Pendenza, 3 TDs, 164 yards passing. All right, the Bruisers, do they have it in them again to take out another top-tier seed as they did with Kiwi Island? Can they do it this week against a peaking Cage Bureau roster?
I think like the Knights of King Arthur's Table, they have it in them to slay yet another dragon. They've won 3 of their last 4 games, red hot right now. They feel like they're just getting started. I think that's the key mentality for them. They had a kind of late blossoming to this season, and it's really now for them the peak. So they're not looking to slow down anytime soon. The defense has just come alive in recent weeks. You could see that little spark back, just like the old backyard bruisers of seasons past. And Rich Humes is just a one-man wrecking crew right now. He's doing it on both sides of the ball. He's carrying the offense, and he's just picking off everything in sight. So I think the Bruisers are really ratcheting up for an extended playoff run. I don't think this win against Kiwi Island is the be-all, end-all for their playoffs.
Rich Humes has a 5-game INT streak going on as we speak, but you look at Dylan Garber, or DG10 as I like to call him.
We know that. We know you like to call him that.
Yeah, I've only been calling him for the last, 11 weeks. But you look at DG10 in this offense, I feel like they found the groove. That Kiwi Island loss was a wake-up call for them. The last 2 weeks, they look very good here. But now, you look at the road to the finals for KHB Raw, if they could advance through the next 2 games here. It's easy. But could the pressure get to them in what's in front of them, knowing that very well the toughest teams that they were going to encounter are no longer in their face?
I would present a minor caveat to your point, Mo. I think there could be a minor adjustment period for them this week at the beginning of the game. This past week, reminds you that they played against a team with 5 guys in, what are they called?
Go-getters.
The go-getters, exactly, who weren't able to field the full roster. And KGP Raw just kind of tore them apart, as you'd expect. But the thing is, when you face 5 guys, your offense kind of relaxes a bit. And now, if you're gonna bring that kind of relaxed offense into a game with big, athletic, swarming, aggressive Bruisers defenders, I think you could have a little bit hiccup at the beginning if you try to establish a rhythm. I don't think it's going to last the whole game. I think KGP Raw will establish himself, but I think there might be an unpleasant surprise to start.
I think backyard Bruisers will be very feisty with them. Their style of play, it's a blue-collar mentality.
Mm-hmm.
And
very much.
And you look at KHB Raw, they're a finesse team. Let's not kid ourselves. They're not going to go and get a 4-yard hook and then bully their way up the field. They're going to try to finesse you as much as they can and then hit you with Phil Cutler for a red zone touchdown. So I think they can definitely do it. But I look at a guy like Brendan Burke in the situation, right? As a quarterback himself, we think he will be the quarterback. I believe it will be him.
I think there's no reason to disbelieve that. He went 6-0 this past week against Kiwi Island. There's no taking him out now.
But you look at Brendan Burke's stats of late. He's gone 50% passing quite a bit now. Can he afford to go with that clip again at 50% and win this game? Because you look at KHP Raw's defense, they're ball hawks. Whether it's Niederman, whether it is Garfinkel or Phil Cutler or Gate D'Amico rushing the quarterback here, they got playmakers on the defensive side of the ball here. Can he go 50% or something better than that?
What say you, Eagle?
Just to add to that, you can go 50% on every second pass is a touchdown, right? And every second...
That's essentially almost what he did. 10 completions for 6 touchdowns last game.
Oh.
So 60% touchdown to pass ratio. The thing for me in this game is going to be for Backyard Bruisers, the win that they just had versus Kiwi Island is going to be the blueprint for success for them. They faced a mobile quarterback, they faced a aggressive ball hawking defense, and yet they were able to stymie them and to have their way, essentially. If their defense forces DG10 into tough 4th down positions and creates turnovers, I think that Brendan Burke can afford to go 50%. Let's not forget, Brendan Burke throws timing routes to essentially Rich Humes for like 80% of his passes, where he puts the ball to a spot where only Rich Humes knows where it's going to be and gets there. So it's quite hard to pick Brendan Burke off unless you have a very in-tuned defense. And I don't know if KGP Raw know the Bruisers offense well enough to go into the game with that.
I'd be very tough if my Bucks to go 50%, not in the playoffs. You have to be at least 55 or better in this game here. And if Burke's going to be 50% hovering around that number, I don't think they have a chance to beat this team. And that's why you look on the flip side of things here, the bigger body of the Bruisers in this case, could they be of issue for the smaller, quicker KHP Raw offense? And as I mentioned before, Rich Humes has a 5-game streak of an INT. Could this be a situation where Garber has to avoid Rich Humes and try to cut the field in half and try to work that to his advantage?
Just for some math, Mo, if you're taking 20 attempts in a game, 50% is 10 completions, 55 is 11. So you're literally saying one catch makes the difference.
But in terms of the overall number here, Eagle.
Fine.
Okay, go back to your stupid. What are you playing? Pokemon Go?
Yeah, man.
Okay, go outside and lay some eggs, please. Carry on, please.
Just for some context, Eagle before the show had to go walk 400 meters in order to lay an egg.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
And he did so.
I got a Dratini. It was awesome.
Oh, wow. Congratulations. I think that, yes, Rich Humes has been an incredible hot spell. He's had 5 picks in the last 5 games, 1 per game. He's also had 9 TDs on offense over that spell. So he's been a one-man wrecking crew like we alluded to earlier. I think in this game what's going to be key is the rusher Mark Donahue getting some pressure on DG10 and then forcing him to kind of throw off balance because like you said, the Bruisers defense is big and they're bashing. So they can cover
Bashing.
They're bashing. They bash. They go in for the kill.
Bashing.
They're bashing. Bruiser smash. So they're going to put up their arms. They're going to take a lot of room in the small FPF field, and they're going to make life difficult for DG10. He might have to force some balls into some very tight windows. So,
Diablos GLC. GLC won 2019. Jaime Luong and Francois Martin both had 3 TDs, 2 INTs in this game. All right, so GLC went 0-5. Are they a team of destiny, but did they have their hallmark moment last week? Do they have it in them again to produce another victory? And could they be that team that might end up playing the finals now?
You know what? It certainly seems that way at the moment. They look more like a reality every week. And if they can pull off an upset this week, another one versus Diablos, then I think that there's a very good chance that this team will be hot enough to make the finals. And this is just a true Cinderella story for the Division D1. Going from 0-5 to going to a potential conference finals berth is something that you don't see every season.
Considering where GLC was back in January of 2017, where they look anemic and had no business playing FPF Division 5A or 5B, whatever it was.
Yeah. Eagles team could have beat them, basically.
Yeah, Eagle could have
Tom Gatehouse.
Yeah, Tom Gatehouse and Eagle by himself. The two of them could have beaten that GLC.
Wasn't that Simon Dagenet?
Oh, yes.
Even Simon Dagenet could have beat them, I think.
Even with 4.
And he's an all-star.
Yeah. With the right receivers.
Yeah. Vinny Galano and Marco Mastriotra. But you look at them from where they are to where they are today, it's a 180. They have definitely improved. The quarterback positions where they have definitely answered that question with Jaime Luong. And he's done well. And this team they know each other. They've been together for eons, whether it is Cardichon, Jerson Pervion when he was playing for these guys, and guys who've been with this team for quite a while. So I think when you look at GLC's chances against the Diablos roster, I do give them a fighter's chance to play a tough Diablos team that had their moments on Sunday, but now coming to this game against a very quiet, with assassin-like mentality of GLC.
Look, like the Philadelphia 76ers trust the process. It looked very bleak for GLC early in the season. They believed in themselves. They believed in the quarterback that they brought in, Jaime Luong, and it paid off for them over the long haul. Diablos are not a team without flaws. They're not some big powerhouse storming through the division. They struggled. They just finished narrowly above 500 at 5-4-1. Some weeks their offense looks anemic. Others their defense looks porous. And then there's some weeks where they put it together and they look truly strong. So the consistency has certainly been lacking for Diablos, and we don't know which iteration of the Diablos is going to come out on Sunday and face GLC. So they, in a lot of ways, could be ripe for the picking for GLC.
So Diablos, their ball hawk defense, 59 teams during the regular season. So how patient does Jaime Luong have to be going up against a very smart defense of the Diablos?
I wouldn't exactly call them ball hawking because I've seen them at certain points of the season where teams have gotten a lot of points against them, and it's been fairly easy to move the chains. Marc-André Lapointe is the key for them. Whenever he's there, he just kind of makes this defense go from slightly above average to great. He's a one-man superstar. So he'll likely be there, and Jaime Luong will have to be patient, right? But that's Jaime Luong's game. He takes the hooks, he takes the drags, he waits for an opening, and then he takes his chance eventually. And if it's not there, he checks down and he waits for his next opening. He's a very intelligent quarterback, and I don't think Jaime Luong's going to try to force the issue too much against Diablos. I think he's going to stay home and play his game.
This might be the slowest moving game on Sunday, but where do you rank Francois Martin as a quarterback, and how important will Gab Wiseman be for him in this game? Because he caught some clutch balls against Dreamville on Sunday. So for Francois Martin, this is also an opportunity to really, I guess, eradicate the demons that has bestowed on his quarterback playoff success in the last couple of years.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. There's the stigma following him that he can't get it done in the finals. Francois Martin, for me, is in that top 8 to 12 range in this division. I think he's kind of like the Eli Manning, minus the championships, right? But the Eli Manning caliber player. He's He's going to have some great games, and he's going to have some clunkers. He's regressed sharply in the second half of the season. He started off on fire and took a little bit of a spell. Looks a little bit like he's rebounded somewhat in the past 2 weeks, but he had a miserable game versus Kiwi Island. So the toughest game of the season for them, he did not show up in that one. I think Gab Wiseman is going to be huge for him. He's his go-to. He's a trusted receiver he's played with for years. For me, the best receiver on this team is Alex Gaumont.
Yeah.
He's a monster. He's a monster wide receiver. He runs verticals so well. So what Gab Wiseman will do is he'll take that pressure off of Gaumont. So you can't double team Gaumont. You're going to have to focus on Wiseman. Otherwise, Wiseman will eat you up on the other vertical. And you have Marc-André Lapointe running in between the seams. So they have players that are capable of spreading the defense out thin. And if François Martin can execute and can take advantage of that, he'll certainly be able to have an advantage on Sunday.
SOB top seasons. SOB won 32-20. They jumped out to a 12-0 first half lead. Max Marini had 5 TDs. Kalilkar 3 TDs, 1 INT. Do you prefer the rugged style of SOB compared to the sleek, moving version of top seasons in this game?
Wow. That's a pretty good depiction, Mo. No wonder they pay you the big bucks on this program.
Yeah, of course.
I think if you're going to look at last game to begin with, you have to throw that out the window. Kalilkar arrived at halftime. He had an emergency. By then, the damage was already done. It was too much of a comeback for TOPSZN to mount at that point. I like the more traditional flag game of TOPSZN's. I like the way that they run different layers. They run the deep, they run the short, and Kalilkar just kind of picks one and chops it down, and they get the ball out quick, and they allow the receivers, their athletic receivers, to create space. I do think SOB's aggressive, rugged style matches up well with them, however. I think if you bump TOPSZN off of the route, make them uncomfortable defensively by running picks in front of them, I think that kind of gets into their head a little bit, and I think that might be an element at play.
I think, by the way, someone's going to have to wear pennies this weekend. I believe it is... Who's the home team this weekend?
Home team this weekend is straight out of breath.
Oh,
TOPSZN.
Don't worry, they're washed the pennies. Don't worry about it.
So they're bringing an extra set of pennies, jerseys, if you happen to have at home.
Yes.
Or you're going to be wearing Mo Khan's sweaty pennies.
I wash them every week.
Yeah, and then he wears them to the gym one by one.
I want Kalilkar to win this one. I want so-and-so to win this one. I think the physicality of SOB will be issues for this TOPSZN's roster. I think it can get them not off their game, but mentally off their game. I don't think they've encountered a team such as SOB style of play, which could definitely alter how they do things. I think for Kalilkar, it's going to be, and we'll get to the next question, it will be on him to make sure that he can find the right matchup that'll benefit TOPSZN's offense. And if he can find that matchup and exploit it to his advantage, it's going to be more pressure on SOB. So I think at the end of the day, SB will have to get physical, but also get them off their mental game, which could definitely be very key. And look at Shaq Lattimore in this game here. In theory, he's probably the fastest guy on this roster for SOB. Is he the equalizer to take out the TOPSZN's defense and keep them honest on Sunday?
TOPSZN's are a very good defense at eliminating the number one receiver. They're able to use the defensive player of the year, Matthew Kenwell, as the one in the 4-1 defense, and they kind of play him on top in a bracket coverage style of system where the number one receiver is going. So if you're telling me that Shaq Lattimore is going to be the number one, I think that TOPSZN's will be good at kind of limiting Shaq Lattimore. You can't take him out entirely. He's an explosive player, limiting him, and that'll create a large opportunity for Mickey Marini to step up and carry this team. And I think that's going to be key. If you see Mickey Marini have the type of game where he catches 80, 100 yards, 2 to 3 touchdowns, because the focus was on Shaq Lattimore, then I think SOB is in business and they'll be able to keep up with TOPSZN's. Because TOPSZN's, to your other point, I like their receiving core. You don't have just Hassani Roel, you have Kevin Donay, you have Ted Griffin, and you have just like guys across the board that are capable of making plays. Not to mention that Kalilkar can use his legs and run at any time.
So stakes are very high now. Which quarterback do you trust more in this game? Do you trust Max Marini or Kalilkar?
We've put a lot of pressure on both of these quarterbacks throughout the year because we're trying to push them towards greatness to perform better. We're toughing them up as Mo Khan takes credit for Kalilkar's success. In this one and done type of affair, I like the football acumen of Kalilkar. I like the competitiveness that he brings. They're both relatively new to the quarterback position at flag, but give me Kalilkar in this one and done matchup.
Fair enough.
What say you?
I think it's a push right now.
Oh. That's a fair
I think
answer.
it's a push. I think both quarterbacks have their flaws, both have their strengths.
Take back the big bucks. I don't.
Yeah,
I don't.
no, you can't take the backs. That's on tape. Quick yes or no. This is a simple yes or no answer. The pass rush of top seasons, only 6 sacks in the regular season. Does this play a role this weekend?
Yes, it does play a role. They have their starting pass rusher Nick Cooper. I'm going to elaborate a bit because I can't give yes or no answers. This isn't secondary 5 mathematics. Mathematics would be the wrong course, right? Perhaps like social sciences or something.
Perhaps,
no, mathematics can have yes or no answers. Nick Cooper struggled a bit this year to get any kind of consistent stats. And against Marini's mobility, he might find it a little bit difficult. But 2 weapons to look at that have both rushed at times throughout the regular season: Hassani Worrell and Khalil Kerr. If they want, they can unleash either of these guys at a moment's notice, and that will give them a significant advantage. So the rusher is a key matchup to focus on for TOPSZN.
All right, then. Come up next, we'll talk some Div D-2, get to the recap, and then the final 4 games of that, and then we'll give you our picks of the week here from Calling the Audible from the armpit of St. Leonard, Quebec. Or as Eagle would say...
FPF Studios!
Yes, as he has his phone on his chin.
He's laying eggs right now, Mo.
And welcome back here to the Division D2 portion of the show, and we will recap the divisional playoffs and get you geared up for the quarterfinals. And of course, we have 1 round down, 2 more to go until the roadshow final.
Mo, who are we and where are we? And how can you contact us?
Oh, forget about anyone contacting us. I don't want people badgering my Twitter timeline with, "Huh, Mo Cub, we told you we beat you guys, huh?"
Look alive, Mo.
I am live.
Show some enthusiasm.
I'm enthusiastic right now. Anyway, welcome back to the Division D2 podcast. He's Hollowak, I'm Con, and Eagle at the Master Control. If you want to inundate us with tweets, it's at Flag Plus. Okay, inundate that, or if you want, I'll give you the president's phone number and call him up with your questions, and he'll direct that towards me.
Alternatively, just use the YouTube live chat to the right of this broadcast while it's live, and you can reach us. Otherwise, the best way to do it is on Twitter, at Mocon19, at AlexHollowak1, at EcoFPF.
If you guys are at home listening and you think we're wrong in our astute analysis, chime in, let us know where you're being told we're wrong. It doesn't bother us at this point.
Okay, let's dive into this quickly here, because essentially we've seen a 1 seed go down in the Warriors to ETC.
Oh, that was a game that was hard on the eyes.
Yeah, look, these guys at ETC, this was their nirvana. This is the highest they'll ever go in football, like organizational team.
They're up and coming team. They just need a quarterback. But this game was flat out ugly.
It was awful.
There was no rhythm. There was no rhyme to it. It was big punch after big punch, but like to nothing. Like errant passes and missed tackles and INTs back and forth. We made a comment on the sideline that we'd have to, it was going to go 0-0, and we'd have to decide who won by who threw less INTs. Yes. Like 10 INTs versus 9 INTs. The winner is 9 INTs. So it was definitely not a competitive game in any way.
No.
I guess the Warriors missed Michael Soleimani big time because
they would have won with him. I don't care what they say.
Absolutely, they would have won.
They would have killed these guys.
Absolutely, they would have won.
Makes you wonder.
It it certainly does. Tough season for the Warriors to finish first, to have such a good regular season, and then to go out in the first round without your quarterback. But good for ETC, though.
Yeah, these guys, like Juwan Edgell, the guy has a knee brace and 2 crutches, and he throws his crutches away. Mo, what do you think now, huh?
Oh, yeah.
Buddy, pick up your crutches, man. You might get like another ACL tear in your other knee, pal. Vikings, they win over the Buffalo Wild Wings 33-24. Ray Starwar who has never seen the Vikings play, was so impressed by their defense.
He was impressed, yeah. I was there, too.
Yeah, you were there for that game.
He was impressed, man.
I was impressed. This is a team I think is now... They are in their seam of dominance. They looked in control of this game against the Wild Wings. The Wild Wings looked outnumbered, flustered, and the confidence is oozing all over the place for this Vikings team here.
It was a good game, Mo.
A great game.
It was a good game to watch. I think if you're the Vikings, check your email boxes, your outlooks, because Rehan Sarwar might be sending you an invite for the FPF Cup to play with the Kings.
Or as Ray Star and Eagle will attest to this, will somehow finagle his way onto the roster to get himself a championship t-shirt to say, yes, I was part of the team when I won.
If the Vikings win a championship, does Rehan get a championship?
Yeah, I think so.
He's going to end up with a team photo, with the t-shirt.
He's going to photobomb it.
Yeah, exactly.
Put a championship next to his name on the website.
Mongoose, he goes on the team for 8 years and somehow he ends up as a champion.
Yeah, he didn't play that 1 year, and he's like, no, I'm repping them though, so I get a championship. I'm like, no, it doesn't work that way.
Can't do that in modern FPF. We keep stats.
We have shirts to give out. We can't give out to everybody out there. Okay, so Vikings win by 9. They are looking phenomenal. Your thoughts on this game?
You know what? I left late in the second half. I guess that Buffalo Wild Wings made a slight comeback at that point because it looked like it was all Vikings for me from my vantage point. Nicolas Gendron-Vallée was smooth. He was finding his guys in rhythm. He was marching downfield. They had absolutely no problems in the red zone this week, which I was surprised. They look like they've solved those woes entirely.
Yeah.
Gendron-Vallée's ability to scramble and find receivers who are, crossing and uncrossing in the back and buy extra time and allow them to get open has paid major dividends for them. The Vikings look very scary. They look like a Div C team. They look like they can compete in the Div C playoffs by my estimation. Good for Buffalo Wild Wings to stay in this game. I don't know how they did it because there was a lot more hitchiness to their offense. They would miss a couple and then they would hit a big one. They would look like they were shredded on defense and then they would come up with a couple of big pat downs. So their game wasn't fluid, but they stuck around late. But Vikings are the key story here, though, Mo.
They definitely are. Pandas, I feel bad for them. They were late to their game. They lose by 8. They were down 6-0 at first. They could have easily made this game much more competitive as the Montagnarads won by 8. You look at All Hooks. They lose to Lobster Dinner by 12. We were surprised by that because, of course, we thought with Theo Levine whether or not he'd be playing quarterback, which he did. This was probably an indirect upset because we thought Hooks could have made a deeper run than what they did. Yeah.
Lobster Dinner really leveraged their experience in this one. Guys like Simon Duchesne, Brian Udix, Francois
Udix. Hold on here.
Is that not his name?
Udoxy?
Really?
Udix.
Really?
That's what I thought his last name was.
Oh, you really laid an egg right there.
Yeah.
Well, I'm sure.
Wait till PZ
Zach will scoop it up.
You dicks. Brian, you dicks. Hello, you dick. You know how people go, hey, hello, what's going on? Hey, you dick.
You dicks.
Dicks.
Mo, come on. Say his name properly.
Udoxy.
Brian Udoxy, okay?
Put it on the poll, please. It's
venerated
Udoxy, you dicks.
Venerated veterans in this league stepped up big time and carried it for Lobster Dinner. Jonathan Brown just had to, they set the table for him and he just had to deliver the food. I am surprised with this one as well. I thought that All Hooks with Theo Levine would make a major, much bigger impact than they did. But, this is football. Things don't always go as they're expected to go on paper. And kudos to Lobsters.
All right, let's talk about the game itself. We got Vikings against Lobster Dinner. The Vikes won 27-26. John Brown had 182 yards passing. Schnick had 129 yards passing. Could a lethal Dinner offense be able to crack the Vikings defensive code this weekend?
I think they are capable. I think they, like we just alluded to, they have that veteran savvy, especially from those three guys. Look at last game: Duchesne 55 yards, 2 TDs; Udoxy 42 catches, 2 TDs; Francois Hogue adding another 46 in for good measure. They have they have those savvy vets that know how to run routes, how to find the holes in the zone, and that's what you're going to get with Vikings. They're going to play a very aggressive zone, but they are going to play a zone. And these guys, if they can find it, you can bet that John Brown's going to be able to deliver it to them. So I think they do possess the talent to keep up with the Vikings offensively. I think
they can, but what's going to be the benefit for the Lobster Dinner is they got to create turnovers in this game. They got to steal one possession from these guys because the Vikings are the type of team that built with the lead in hand. They're tough to beat, but if they're in trail, they don't know how to win those type of games. And they got to get that turnover to go in favor for them to be up at least by 7 in any moment of the game.
And it's going to be tough, Mo. It's going to be tough. Nicolas Gendron-Vallée has only thrown 1 INT in the last 3 weeks.
Yeah.
So more likely than not, if you're looking for turnovers versus them, you're going to have to look for turnover on downs versus INTs.
Absolutely.
And a big rush will be key to that. Francois Hogue is going to have to pressure Gendron-Vallée. He's going to have to make him make uncomfortable throws. Francois Hogue, a great savvy veteran at the rusher position, in a very small class with those kind of elite veteran rushers in this league.
Moe Cons of the world. Absolutely.
Exactly. The Moe Cons. I wouldn't go that far. Moe Con was maybe good for a pat down now and then, but he wasn't.
Why don't you go put that 2012 Div 1 final tape on and see what I did in that game, huh?
You had a pat down.
Go watch that game.
This is before or after you sprained your whole hand?
What's your relax?
Which makes it impossible to rush, of course.
It brings up to my point, though. You brought Francois Hogue, who had 15 sacks during the regular season.
Yeah.
Is that the key matchup, though? You mentioned Gendron-Vallée and his agile moves. Is that going to be the matchup within the game that will determine who wins this overall game?
I think it's going to be the key matchup. Yes, Gendron-Vallée is a guy who is he's lethal, right? With his mobility, he can move from side to side. He can move backwards and forwards. He can throw on the run like on a dime. So you need to really pressure him. You need to weed him out to one side. You need to have your defense collapse to that side in order to really kind of close the holes that he's looking for. Another key matchup that I'm looking at, however, is Jonathan Brown avoiding the aggressive safety play of Jean-Philippe Huard, who led the team with 5 INTs. He came up with another big INT this week against BWW. He's the type of guy who has absolutely reckless abandon for his body. He'll lay his health out on the line in order to crash zones and make spectacular defensive plays. So Jonathan Brown, when he's trying to hit deep, he'll definitely have to keep an eye on Jean-Philippe Huard and try to avoid him.
You mentioned briefly here the Vikes red zone offense. They've scored 30 points the last few weeks here. Are we now confident to say they solved their red zone woes?
I think so, Mo, and I'll tell you the name of the guy who's been the savior for them.
Corbatti, man.
I have another one, though. Corbatti, yes. Sylvain Paquette.
Oh.
Paquette has been catching 1 TD a week over the past 3-4 weeks, and he's the type of guy who's really emerged in recent weeks as the go-to in short yardage situations and in red zone situations. So he's the type of guy who's catching 5 yards for 35 yards, 5 catches for 35 yards, but he's making those short yardage conversions, and they're using him especially around the red zone now. Corbatti, of course, is the headlining star of this offense.
Ravens Big Fun Party Mix 8. Party Mix won 32-25. Evan Nolay, 5 TDs. Alex Steven had 4 TDs, 1 INT. So Eli Nolay has been putting up some MVP numbers. It's pretty indicative for what he did during the regular season. Where is the weak link in the Ravens defense that he can exploit to his advantage?
He's definitely been putting up Simon Dagenet-worthy numbers here down the stretch.
All-star numbers.
He is the all-star. And
they're all all-stars.
He's been lights out in the last 6 games. Listen to these numbers here. 110 QBR every game along the way there, and a 27-2 TD to INT ratio. These are MVP numbers, Mo. I think he has to keep doing what he's doing. He's going to roll left. He's going to have that 3-layer flood coming across the field, and he's going to hit that opening with that nice Matthew Stafford sidearm sling that he does. So he's going to run his system of play. But here's the thing. The Ravens know it, right? The Ravens know it. They just saw it a couple of weeks ago. So are they going to be able to adapt to it? Because Eli does one thing, and he does one thing well. He rolls out and he throws a nice sidearm ball. So if you can kind of put a fork in that, you can have some success defensively.
So how do you stop the TD machine making in Matthew Uhl, who was a red zone target all throughout the course of the season for the Ravens? I don't know how you do it.
Simple. You keep him on the sideline. Like last game, he had a DNP. He didn't play last game. I think he suffered through some kind of injury.
Yeah.
I don't know if he's going to be in uniform this week, but if he's injured, that solves your problem. Secondly, here's what you have to do. You have to match him up with a big body defender so he can't create space as easily. He's excellent at kind of putting you on his back, and once you're there, there's nothing to do. I tried matching up with him when we played Alpha T's in the finals last year, and he put me on his back, and I couldn't touch it. We switched J.S. Collin, who's a large body, and quite agile defender as well, on him, and we completely shut him out for the rest of the game. So you have to put a big body, equally athletic guy on him, and then you'll have some measure of success.
1 of 3 losses in the finals for you, right?
But yes, exactly. 1 of 3 losses. Indeed. But here's the thing, though. I don't think that the Big Fun Party Mix possess that big time defender, that big body defender. Last year, we would have said Michael Francesi would have been that guy, but he's no longer on the roster this year. It's more short guys with a lot of agility and a lot of speed and good hands. So I don't know who's going to match up man for man if Matthew Hull is in the lineup.
The first team to 35 points, do they win, yes or no?
For me, this has the potential to get wild, right? Like, I think both QBs can throw down in this one. So I'd say maybe the first to 42 even in this game.
42.
Yeah,
okay.
we might be looking at a 45-42 type of ending here.
One X factor.
X factor for me, easy. Marc-Antoine Vallée. He has only 4 sacks in 6 games in Division D2, but he's the Defensive Player of the Year with 24 sacks in 8 games in Division C. He needs to get into Nolé's passing lanes, especially that left lane that he's trying to take as soon as he receives a snap. He needs to get his hands up, and he needs to cut that space quickly and put pressure on Nolé to throw off balance. If he can do that, he'll be the X factor in this game.
Our Trinity ETC, look. Simple. Trinity hammered this team to oblivion. ETC used 5 quarterbacks in that game. ETC...
Only 5?
Yeah, only 5. ETC, do they have enough energy to upend a strong Trinity team that cracked them 2 weeks ago?
It ain't going to happen, Mo. It ain't going to happen. I don't have anything against Trinity. I like the run that they've made. I love them with Juwan Edgehill. But they played such an ugly game versus an equally ugly Warriors last week, and now you're playing against a true playoff contender with a quarterback, right? Like, not like some kind of patchwork quarterback that's just thrust in there. So I can't see it. I think their energy is going to be high. I think they're going to want to try to prove us wrong. But
Only us two.
Only us two.
Only us two.
Of the 2 haters, those 2 dummies from the podcast. But I just don't see the talent depth there, the establishment of a coherent FPF game plan that will allow them to upend the experienced Trinity roster.
Okay, so on the flip side, let's say for Owen Botrowski, who probably will be the quarterback for ETC, does he have to slow down this game with his arm and legs? That's what he did against Warriors fairly well. But does he have to do that against a strong, stingy defense of Trinity to have a chance to win this football game, or to be close enough in the second half of this game to perhaps win it in 5 plays?
He absolutely has to do that. He rushed 10 times last week. It's not that often you see a quarterback rush 10 times anymore in today's game. But here's the thing. He has the capability of doing that again. There's not a dominant rusher. Benjamin Danseau-Leclerc has been good at times this year for Trinity, but he only has 5 sacks. So I think that Bujarski can use his legs to create a little bit extra time, can run every second play if he wants to, but he's going to have to figure something out as a passer as well. You can't have that. I don't know what he had, 66 passing yards last week, 15 of 25 or something.
It's Montagnarads level of yards.
Oh, shoot.
My God.
But he's going to have to figure something out. Otherwise, Trinity will just smother him. You're not going to run your way to a win against Trinity. You're going to have to pass.
So you look at Alex Sampson. Does he line up against Chaz Kidder-Alexander, who had a great game for them? We look at Kidder-Alexander, who is athletically gifted.
Yeah.
Sampson is a very feisty DB, kind of like a Cortland Finnegan, to use that analogy.
Nice.
Do we see that matchup, and do we see Boudrowski go to that matchup as his go-to receiver? I
think Bujarski should definitely go to Chaz Kidder-Alexander more often than last game, at least. He only hit him once last game, although he has been a factor throughout the course of the season. But on the side of Trinity, I don't think there's any need to there's not enough passing threat on ETC to merit individual matchups in this one. I think that they should play their zone as they normally do, and the zone would be a better style of defense because then you can have a QB spy dedicated to watching Bujalski's run. So that's what I would do personally as a defensive game caller. I wouldn't start looking at individual matchups, Samson versus Kidder-Alexander, because I don't see ETC as being a threat to pass the ball on anybody at this point.
Are we all in GF Marquis now as a quarterback, or is he going to have a bad game?
I'm not sold on him. We've been rough on him this year as well.
We were tough.
But here's the thing, though. He has good TD numbers, but here's another season with 13 INTs and a sub-100 QBR. Not elite numbers, unless you're the all-star Simon Dagenet, of course, and those are elite. But we're going on today.
Oh, yeah.
But so I'm not sold on him. I don't think this is the game where he's going to have a clunker, though. I think maybe next week or the week after there might be one in his future, and we'll see if Trinity can survive that. But I think this week he's gonna emerge unscathed against a depleted ETC roster.
Okay, let's say ETC somehow wins this game, which they probably won't. I don't think they even believe they will win this game this weekend here. Are they a team of destiny to go to the finals at this point?
Let's put it this way, Mokan. If they win this game, this will be their championship.
We give them gold stars. Hey, guys,
gold stars.
Gold star for you and you and you and you.
Pull out some non-alcoholic champagne and spray them down with it. This will be their championship, really. This will be such an upset of epic proportions that we should all just give them a slow clap for about half an hour after the game, and
give them an honor guard.
You know, like in hockey where you put your sticks together and create a tunnel for
honor
the opponent to watch out. Yeah,
honor guard. Yeah,
honor guard. Exactly. This will be it. I don't think it'll go any further than this, even if we happen to win this one. But I definitely think this will be a huge feat that's worth celebrating.
All right, Montagnarads, tie game, 32-32. Yann Coulias, 228 yards. Fils Sierra, 170 yards. Okay, I think this is probably the best matchup out of 4 games here. Does this game have a finals feel to it? Winner goes on to the finals.
Well, in the first game that they played against each other, this was the first game without Fred Vien in the lineup for Mountaineers. And I think Mountaineers did a good job without him to tie the Roadrunners. Roadrunners also went on an incredible hot streak since then. They've been 6-1 in their last 7 and have arguably been the best team in Division D2 since that point. I think Trinity will be a tough out for whoever wins this game. So I'm going to say no to your question. Is this the conference finals? No, because Trinity is a team that deserves enough respect to at least match up next week against the winner. But I definitely think this is the most highly sought game of this round.
Okay, so in this regard, we look at Justin Lerner and Mark M.A. Viam and what he's done this year. Who do you like more in this game? Who's more important to their team's success this weekend? Who's more important
to their team's success this weekend? By far, Justin Lerner. He is the be-all, end-all of the Roadrunners offense. He has 17 touchdown catches on the season. Other guys do well to score around the red zone and move the change, but he's definitely the guy who takes the top off of that off of defenses. M.A. Vien is the heart and soul of the Mountaineers. You won't find a tougher competitor out there on the field than him, but the Mountaineers have showed this year that they need other guys to be successful as well.
Fils Sierra, is he Fred Vien 2.0? You look at his stats, 10 times he's been a better passer completion of 65 or more. And if he is, how does the Roadrunners make him throw incompletions and perhaps go aggressive with their man-to-man looks or something more aggressive than that?
It certainly seems like the Vien brothers have been coaching him up on the sidelines, right? He moves the chains with crisp, short passes, similar to Fred Vien. Very efficient, and they employ a tackle football style of offense where they kind of throw 3-yard hooks over and over again until they get their 10 yards. You know, like they're not going to take too many risks. They're going to play a style of offense which is methodical and which they can rely on, and it's not going to change whether it's the first half or the second half, whether the first play or the last couple of minutes of the game. So I definitely think there is a Fred Vien element to him, and similar to Fred Vien, the way you have to beat them is you have to be ready for those quick short passes. You have to play a very aggressive style of man or a very aggressive style of zone. You can't allow him to get comfortable with those quick looks, otherwise he'll get rolling on you.
All right, which receiving core do you like better? The Roadrunners had 6 players with 16 plus catches. The Montagnarads had 4 players with 20 plus receptions. So which receiving core do you think is the better one?
I don't want to take anything away from the Roadrunners receiving core because they're definitely impressive. I don't think there's one with more depth in this division, but with Fred Vien in the lineup, I will take the Mountaineers all day. All right. I think him, M.A. Vien, and Mathieu Girard-Provost make an unguardable trio in this division that the Roadrunners won't be able to account for. What about you?
I think the Runners.
Yeah?
I like the Runners. They have the athletic ability to pose problems with their receiving core. Yann Coulias could put up numbers.
Oh, he had a great season. Quarterback of the year, baby.
I think that whoever wins this game, strong chance to go to the finals. This should have been a finals. In my books, under the MoCon tournament theory, this should have been a finals matchup.
Okay, MoCon. Well, you know, get a little more important in this league, and you can change the.
Don't worry, we're about to pull.
Around next year.
We're about to pull North Korea on the people, the suits up in Jean Talon. It is now time for
Games of the Week.
All right, here we go.
All right, let's go ahead. You want to start with D1 or D2 first?
We go in the order of the games that we have.
Why you gotta be so boring for?
Shut up and just
just read the paper, Ego.
All right, fine. In the first game of the week, we have the Frosty Bronsons versus the Badgers. Frosties are favored by 2.5 points.
I'll put 10.5 points. Give me the Bronsons to win and cover.
Wow, 10.5.
Yeah.
I'll take the. Let's say I'll say the Badgers. I'll say the Badgers.
I'll take the Badgers.
I'll say the Badgers.
Badgers. Yeah.
Yeah. Bronsons will win. Badgers will keep it under 10.5.
All right. Next game we got KGP Raw versus the Bruisers. DG10 is favored by 7.5 points.
Oh, Bruisers for me 7.5. That's a lot of points for Red Hot Bruisers team. I'll take the Bruisers.
You're gonna eat your words when Dylan Garber.
He's gonna feed them to me.
Yeah. What do you say? Spell it 7SEV. Say it louder. Give me the KGP Raw.
Diablos, Green Green Lantern Corps.
What's the spread?
Right, 8.5 Diablos.
GLC all day for me.
GLC.
SOB Straight Out of Breath versus TOPSZN, 3.5 points to Sob.
You want to go first?
Yeah, I go SOB.
TOPSZN's. By far.
Yeah, surprise.
I think they're going to win this.
If TOPSZN was playing the Patriots, TOPSZN's all the way through.
Yeah.
I don't think you picked once against them at all this year.
Hey, it's been working well for me. I'm going to
I
keep
don't think
going.
you have. You're like Tom Jackson here. Broncos could be playing God. I like the Broncos to be God this week.
No, you're wrong. I picked against them once. It was the week the Frosty Bronsons played them, and they proved me wrong.
Right,
they proved me wrong.
Your pick was valuable to this whole process here, huh? Next.
We got in D2, Vikings Lobster Dinner, 5.5 points Vikings.
The Vikes.
Oh, wow. This is Mo, I have to tip my hat sometimes. You do have a good spread now and then. This is one of them. Very tough spread. I will take the Vikings as well, just to cover.
Ravens and Big Fun Party Mix 8.
Ravens for me.
1.5 points to the Ravens on top of that.
1.5. We see it. You guys didn't see it there. Eagle got a little ahead of himself. 1.5 for the Ravens.
In the blowout of the week, we have Trinity versus ETC. 17.5 points.
Now, you know why I put
17.5?
You know why I put 17.5, right? You know why I did that, right?
This is like one of those college games where you have like one of those headliners playing a
like
nobody
Florida against nowhere A&M
40-point spread, and they always cover.
Well, you know why I put 17.5 points?
Why is that?
Because what's the 5 plays off? 18, right?
Yes.
So
yes. Trinity.
Yeah,
come
absolutely.
on.
They're going to crack them by like 25. Man.
Come on.
100%, 25-point win.
Trinity.
And in the lack of spread of the week, we have Les Montagnards and Roadrunners, 0.5 point towards Montagnards, just so you can have a push.
Toss it up. I've been on their bandwagon this season. I'm not going to get off at this point. Montagnards, for me, 0.5 points.
Give me the runners. The Wrangler, my friend.
The Wrangler.
Yes, sir. All right. Okay, we're done. So by the time we converse next week, we'll have our finalists for Div D-1, Div D-2. We got tailgate coming up.
Tailgate, baby. Hot dogs and Facebook Live. I don't even know what's going on. It's going to be madness.
Keep in mind, after you win on I imagine it's Monday or Tuesday for the...
Tuesday we'll know who will book their tickets.
So either a media member will come see you, or you should go see a media member to get the details for the press conference. Do your hair, bring your jersey, and just be ready to answer some questions.
Go see the media member, because you don't want a media member coming to see you. Yeah. Because if I experienced, they come at weird times, like when you're in the bathroom or taking a shower or something. They'll just pop up. Yeah.
Where
So go see them before they get a chance.
Where else would you take a shower except in the bathroom?
Well, hey.
You proved me wrong once again, you evil villain, you.
Anyway, good night to Jamaica. See you later.